Hey there, I'm Alex Hayes with the Corporate Communications Department out of New Jersey Resources, also known as New Jersey Natural Gas, more commonly for a lot of folks in the Monmouth, Ocean, and Morris County areas. New Jersey Resources is the parent company. I predominantly work with the business units primarily in the gas company. So I have taken a rather different, perhaps, or interesting career trajectory to get to where I am in corporate communications and PR. I started out in television, actually. I got a master's degree in broadcast journalism, and I have lived all over the country reporting the news as a reporter, and then as an anchor, a weekend anchor for 2.5 years in Flint, Michigan, before coming ultimately to the NBC station in Philadelphia for 2 years. And that's what's kind of brought me to the East Coast, to New Jersey. And I have been in New Jersey for about 15 years, which is the longest I've ever lived anywhere. When you're in television, you move every 2 to 3 years. So I am here to put down some roots. I have kids now. I have a husband. I have a house. So I'm not moving anytime soon. And I'm originally from Miami, Florida. So now I'm a Jersey girl. And my job story in getting to where I'm at in public relations is fairly similar to many folks in television news. When you're done with your career, or if you're retiring, or if you're getting out of the business, a natural progression for many folks is to go into public relations or some kind of comms area, some kind of communications, PR. Some folks I've seen do marketing. So it was a fairly easy, natural transition for me to, start writing press releases and to start promoting events and to start asking news organizations to cover events and to get the word out about company and community type events that my company was doing. I worked in retail for a number of years at Boscov's department stores, which is a regional department store, based in Reading, Pennsylvania. There are a number of locations in New Jersey, so I was one of three, I think, public relations managers for several Boscov stores. We each had like a territory. I had five. And, we did a press release almost every month to try to get people, customers, including obviously the media, to attend our community events. We did a lot of stuff in stores. We did a lot of charity things. So that was kind of an easy transition to go from, being in front of the camera to being behind the camera, because, I sort of knew some ins and outs of how to pitch a story and how to make it, appetizing or eye-catching, hopefully for, an editor to send a photographer out. So from Boscov's, I landed a job here at New Jersey Resources 2 years ago. And I'm a corporate communications specialist in corporate comms, corp comms office, or department rather. It's a rather small office. There's about, I think, 7 or 9 of us in it. So we're one of the smaller departments in the company, but basically we're kind of in charge of anything you see that's public facing, whether or not we started off writing it, we finish off writing it. Like, we check for proper grammar, proper spelling, proper subject verb, agreement, because you might have, for example, somebody in the engineering department, but they're not used to Associated Press writing style, and that's what we adhere to. So anything that gets written in the company goes through our department. And as corporate communications specialist, I was hired as one of the folks to do the more customer facing. So we have internal comms, obviously, and we have external comms. And I have been responsible for coming up with concepts, sometimes just rehashing old articles, but pretty much doing most things for the customer newsletter that goes out in everybody's bill. We have almost 600,000 customers, and we print a bill and we also post it online, or I'm sorry, all the bill inserts. So that has primarily been my big baby while I've been here, is a newsletter, which is normally front and back, and it has a bunch of articles. Some things are required by the Board of Public Utilities, and we have to put in certain safety messages and certain rate announcements and stuff like that. but I write very conversationally and very much so for the layperson. So I try to do some feature articles in every newsletter that we put out, whether it's something about a charity that we have been super involved with, or something about an employee that did something amazing. But that's not the only thing I do. I don't only write a 2-page newsletter. I am very involved with the customer and community relations team. They put on a ton of events throughout the year. Many of them deal with school initiatives and school contests. So I provide a lot of support for all the material that they send out. And we also started a new kids contest for middle schoolers. We started that last year. So I was instrumental, me and one other lady, Carolyn, in kind of promoting that, getting it off the ground from concept to, sending it out to schools from soup to nuts. We kind of developed that contest. I work very heavily with the art guy. Sometimes we call it the art department, but it's one guy, and he is remarkable and fast and does all the graphic needs that the company has to do, whether it's like logo design or if he's doing certain infographics for a newsletter. We work hand in hand a lot. So that is one of the main folks or main colleagues that I kind of interact with on a daily basis is our art department, and also a printing department, because we're, once we're done with some kind of a collateral piece, we have to send it down to get printed. And I'm trying to think, of course I do, I write the electronic, enviro-friendly, save money, save energy newsletter called eTips. Not every customer is signed up for it, but we have almost 200,000 customers that receive it every month. So kind of same thing. I write all the articles for that piece, and it really has a conservation lean toward it. We want to have something in there that always tells our customers how they can save money and save energy at the same time. Tips and tricks we tell them about, sometimes contests, sometimes company events, things like that. Some of the questions, the Junior Achievement Career Speaker script outline suggested that we talk about is, what was the first job you had and how did you get hired? If it means first job ever in my life, I think I was in high school and I worked at one of those SAT prep, places where you go after school and they teach you, you do a class for 45 minutes on increasing your vocab or your math score. And I kind of lucked out. My sister's a year older than me, so she got the job first. And then a year later, I came in as an hourly employee. And, that actually taught me quite a bit of office skills, answering phones and typing and that sort of stuff. I do regret that I never took typing in high school. So that is, if anybody were to ask what are the biggest regrets in life, seriously, that is one of my biggest regrets, because I type with, like 5 fingers on this hand and 2 or 3 on this hand. So I'm super fast. I do 60 words a minute. I think that's super fast, but I think I would be a lot faster if I had taken that class in high school. But I thought, oh, that's a waste of time. Big mistake. And throughout college, I worked at a retail store. I worked at Express for 2 summers, and I also worked for a temp agency in college. And that was actually very well paid for, an 18, 19, 20-year-old to be sent on these temp jobs for 1 day to 2 weeks, whatever it was. This was in Miami, to, work at an office building, an insurance company, whatever it was, to just answer phones, maybe do light typing. And so that was actually decent money, and it kind of got me the experience in the business world. Also, let's see, what advice could I give my younger self is, a big tenet of mine is to always treat others how you'd want to be treated. So if that is one of your guiding forces and rules in life, you'll be golden. And you really can't go wrong with that. Take typing. In my case, math was never needed in journalism much. So, if you're struggling with math or some kind of a program, if science is your thing, but not English, you'll, if you're in college, you'll have plenty of opportunities to kind of explore various other side things. So you don't be discouraged if there's one subject that you don't love or you're not doing so fabulous in. So let's see, resources that I think would be important for students in high school. Obviously the biggest thing that I think anyone could do to kind of broaden their horizon in life, in job hunting, is just to be current in news and current events. Because if you go for a job interview, if you have any kind of a college or graduate school admissions process, I mean, you need to know what's going on in the world and in your local community. So I think that is extremely important. Anyway, I feel like I talked super, super long and too much, but that was my story. And thank you all. I wish you the best of luck in your future career endeavors.